I am Lawrence Chuno, and this is Doing Jazz. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Jazz. My name is Lawrence Chuno, and this episode is with guitarist Abe Ovadia. Abe is an award-winning jazz guitarist whose style is very innovative and yet informed by the tradition. Abe and I had a wide-ranging conversation that cuts across many areas of musicianship. The song playing in the background is called A Song for Bret. During my conversation with Abe, you'll hear the song AfroBlue. These songs are all recorded by Abe Ovadia. After listening to this episode, you can learn more about Abe by going to the website of the show, www.doingjazz.net. You can also follow the show on Instagram and Twitter. The handle is @DoingJazz. And you can listen to more episodes of Doing Jazz by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the available podcast vendors. If you are on Spotify, please follow the Doing Jazz playlist, a one-stop playlist for songs by all the Doing Jazz guests so far. While on iTunes, please rate the show, leave a comment, and share the show with your loved ones. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present Abe Ovadia in your face. Okay. All right, so let's roll.
All right.
Abe Ovadia,
Ovadia.
welcome to Doing Jazz.
Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good.
We're rolling.
Yeah, we are. You didn't know that. So I've been looking up about what you've been doing. It seems like you're busy lately.
Yeah, this 2018 was fantastic.
Okay. That's a good thing for an artist to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's very hard being anything artistic, whether you're a musician,
Yeah.
but I think like before that, those few years, 2015 to 17 were kind of like I wasn't moving at the pace I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a decision to I'm in control of a lot of what I do.
Yeah.
It just depends how much work I'm willing to put in.
Mm-hmm.
So I really, I made some decisions in 2017. I usually was touring like maybe once a year.
Yeah.
And then at the end of 2017, I was on the road. I was in, Virginia, and I'm having the best time right now on the road. Not even hanging out with the musicians who I enjoy being around, but just the music is growing. Like if you go on a trip for 4 days or something, that fourth night, the music, it took a complete turn.
Yeah.
So I love that aspect of the growth you can get in a short amount of time. So I said, why am I doing this touring like once a year? I'm putting myself on the road, so I did that, and I was, taking these trips, to the Midwest and up and down the East Coast, and I would go away, and before I would go on tour, and we would do one performance or two performances at night, and then I decided, I'm like, no, we need to I'm here to grow, I'm here to work, so we would do 6 sets in a day. I mean, you get burnt out doing it.
But you learn a whole lot.
Yeah, you put yourself at if you're on the road doing 6 sets a day for, 3-4 days.
Yeah.
That growth in those 3 days can, that's like if you were to be home and practicing for a couple months.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go at such a
exponential.
Yeah. So I love that, and I'm gonna. So 2018. I took a lot of trips. Also, I kind of been and I also realized I wanted to, I want to share this music not just with clubs and music venues and
Yeah.
restaurants and lounges, but I want to give to the community, the younger generation. So I started doing assemblies as well,
Okay.
sharing jazz with kids in elementary school,
Nice.
and they loved it. I
Mm.
feel I was able to like give them a way to access the music
Mm-hmm.
that someone who's 6 can understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
That's
you're not
awesome.
too technical and you just go and you're enthusiastic about what you do and answer all their questions, no matter how silly they are,
Yeah.
they love it.
They
And
love it.
little kids are like, "Can you teach me how to play and stuff?" Like, I want to be a jazz musician too. And we got great feedback from the assemblies. Like, all the principals loved it. Like, whenever you want to come back, like, please do. So I'm going to keep doing that this year as well. Not just, when I go on the road and stuff, but also in the tri-state area too. When I like, the more, I don't know, some people, older musicians, I think they might get like burnt out or jaded and about certain things of their career or whatever it is, maybe frustrated. But for me, as I've gotten older and more into this process, I love the music more and more every time I play. So
That's a good thing.
yeah,
It's a great thing.
I don't like, I'm like, okay, I'm like, maybe I'll be satisfied if I do like this many performances a week. And it's just like, I just want to keep going and going and the enjoyment of it has gotten like compared to like 2015,
Yeah.
like just the enjoyment went up so much.
Yeah.
So I just want to keep doing it. And
nice.
now it's more like I'm on, like, this is like, I just want to reach as many people as possible. I want to do, before the focus used to be on, I just want to play at clubs and people who, are jazz fans. But now it's just like, I just want to reach as many people
as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. That's what it should be.
Yeah, the goal totally changed.
Yes,
And now I'm
yeah.
like more focused on, going to the community and stuff. And I did a lot of, the assemblies and doing things like libraries and stuff.
That's good.
And people love live music. They love live music when it's, especially when they can just go to their public library
Yeah.
and go hear a concert either in an auditorium or, even just like a small stage and stuff. And they don't have to like venture into, their nearby city and worry about, I have to pay the minimum 2 drinks. And
Yeah. All those things.
there are people who are family, their concerts, they're very family friendly. So we've gotten a lot of like a really wide range of people who are coming to these things, and also with the kids at the assemblies. I love it. It's a positive change, I think, to be more focused on just reaching everyone as opposed to just playing in clubs and stuff. But I love playing in clubs. I mean, there's nothing like playing at a club.
Yeah.
Or a music venue. That's a totally different. It's a totally different, thing, and it's great. But yeah, so I'm really happy that I'm just now I feel like more authentic in what I'm doing
What
now.
you're
That it
doing. That's good. It's like sometimes, and as an artist, there's something about being an artist that you don't have to deal with when you are doing some other things. Let's say when you're working in a bank or when you're like a college professor or something. As an artist, you need to be authentic. You need to be really, really fully yourself to be able to share yourself with other people. And sometimes you don't even know that you have to work on that. To me, it happens to me. Sometimes there was a year I just looked at everything I had done. This was in 2017, actually. I looked at everything I had done. I looked at the music I had out there. And I realized that I had grown so much and I had understood myself better. I took down everything I had for the streaming
Yeah.
services.
Did
And
you but I'm sure I don't. Once you look back on what you've done, maybe in that year,
Yeah.
you feel grateful.
I feel grateful, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I feel like, oh, I think there are places where I could be more myself. I could be more honest. Like, as I was saying, I took down most of my stuff from the streaming services, some of my music, and I went and re-recorded some of them and added new songs and made an album that is authentically me.
Yeah.
An album which formed a good foundation for where I was at then to spring up to grow up.
Right. I mean, I certainly felt at the time like I wasn't when I did my first record. This is almost a decade ago. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready at all. I mean, the compositions were ready, like to write.
How many songs did you have on the record?
On the first record,
Yeah.
I think I had like 6 or 7.
Okay.
They were pretty long though.
Okay.
The compositions were ready. I'm very happy. Was very happy with the writing and stuff. But as far as my personal, development
Yeah.
at the time, like I wish I was playing the compositions like if I was working in 2011 as much as I was working in 2012 I worked a lot in New York. If I was working like then, the music would have been ready.
yeah.
But there's a lot of pressure, to the need to put out content and stuff, and
Yeah.
and that's why I had always kept putting out stuff. The compositions were always ready, and I've definitely learned, but it's a learning process.
Yeah.
that whole
Let's talk
thing.
about putting out stuff. Most of the songs you have out there, most of the ones I can find are all singles.
Well, there's 3. I have 3 full records out.
Okay. But I couldn't find them on Spotify.
They're up there.
They're
I
up there.
believe.
Okay. I'm gonna look again. But out of all the things you've done in 2018, out of all the rigorous, a lot of playing that you've done, do you think there's an album coming out soon?
I definitely do.
Okay, good. So I'll be looking forward to that because I want to be able to talk about your album, because lately the show has been geared towards, as I was telling you, has been geared towards just exploring a new album.
Sure.
you know,
Well, there's
and,
definitely.
and I can't wait to do that with your material.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, all of the you see now, like that I've all the performances over the past year or two.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been duo,
Okay.
guitar and acoustic bass,
Yeah.
or guitar and piano.
Oh, okay.
So there's definitely a duo record coming out.
Nice.
100%.
Okay.
I know who the musicians will be. These are musicians who I've been working with for years.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're gonna have different musicians. It's not just gonna be you and one other person.
No, I think that would be kind of unless you're Jim Hall and Bill Evans.
Okay.
When
It's gonna be like monotonous kind of. It's
well,
gonna
yeah, I think
sound very
I have
homogeneous.
these 3 different duos that I work with regularly. Like
yeah.
each one of them has their own
Okay.
energy. 2 different bass players, Michael Feinberg and Joe Peterson, and on piano and organ, Anthony Pachetti. So it will be those 3 duos in one record.
Okay.
So, I before I used to listen to duo records. I mean, like I would listen to like learn and stuff, but now as I've done it more, like I love listening to duos play.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about a few songs that you've played that I listened to. I want to focus on those songs and get a few things, get maybe even some technical things out of them.
Sure.
The first song I want to talk about is a song you wrote, a song for Bret. Did you write that? Oh,
Song
okay.
for Bret. Yeah.
So why did you write that song? Why did you?
Well, Song for Bret was written into for dedication of my childhood best friend who he had passed away in 2000 last year, not 2007. Well, it's 2019 now. 2017 he passed away. and I wanted to honor him as a person. Our friendship, it was the first best friend I ever had. You know, that friendship always, you know, your first best friend is something that stays with you for the rest of your life. So I was, you know, not only wanted to honor him and stuff, but I just write something which I would consider a beautiful melody, that sort of thing. And it went, the recording process went so fast. I'm like, I really want to record this as soon as possible. You know, I want people to know how important he was as a person. So I went into the studio and just, this recording was done in about 30 minutes. I had the music, the rhythm section all like sequenced and stuff, and I got to play the guitar parts over it, and it's documented. I'm really happy about that, and I hope that people will, you know, listen to this and enjoy it and remember him as a person. So it hasn't been performed live yet. It will be. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity and the right instrumentation to perform it. It's got to be a full band. It's got to be 4 people to do it. And it's also important to, you know, it's music is there forever. It's
a good fun way to memorialize something, especially somebody,
right,
who means something to us. How have people that know the two of you, how have they responded to it?
People were very happy to see that something, you know, was doing something artistic that can be documented. There was also a scholarship in his name where he was going to vet school at the time. So these little things can really help, what's that word? Keep the memory of them, the spirit. Keep the spirit there.
Keep the spirit out there.
Yeah, so that's really important. I really like the composition. It's amazing because the nowadays people can record stuff and get it out there so fast. So I was like, I got to get this done. I have to document this. So fortunately, with certain services, you can get something recorded and get it online within a couple of days. I think it's wonderful.
It is. It's a new avenue that allows more musicians to do what they are created to do. When I say avenue, I mean something like, you're talking about something like Spotify and iTunes and all those things. But at the same time, I feel like it forces us, or it makes us sometimes ignore some of the other processes that are really important for putting out good work. Because back in the day, when people make an album, there's a lot of input, because it's not easy just putting out an album there. So that album would go through a rigorous process of other people saying what they think about the album.
Even
other
the way
people
it's
who are
changed,
involved.
the way it's changed in the past 5 or 6 years, even.
Yes,
It's crazy.
It's crazy, but now people are just. Sometimes we're tempted to I'm not saying this is what happened to your own work. I'm just saying in general, it happens to me. Sometimes I'm tempted to just write something and try to put it out there. And then when I put it out there, I said to myself, oh, maybe I should have changed this. Or maybe there are like 5 people I would have made, 5 good musicians or producers that I would have made listen to
But,
this and give me their input.
I'll be honest with you, though. I think it's a good thing when those things happen because, if you're a musician, it's this again, this is my personal opinion about things. But if you're a musician and you're serious about it, it's not about the one recording you made. It's not about that one time you played at this venue. It's not about this award you've won. It's not about, like, I was just in a magazine. It's called, it was a very, it was an honor to be in this magazine and stuff, but I'm already on to the next thing. It's about the journey.
Yeah.
It's about the journey. It's not about the one thing you do. I mean, this is just, you're just along for the path, and that's part of the process,
I agree with you. I totally agree. I have that spirit of being prolific, of putting things out there. My show is one of those things that I didn't wait for it to be perfect before I put it out in the world. But at the same time, something like a recording, if you write a song that you really, really dig the composition, and then you record it, maybe you put it in an album, and then you realize that I didn't do this song justice. Sometimes it feels it doesn't sit. It's happened to me, and it didn't sit well with my spirit.
Yeah. Well, I never, I never really was a fan of recording music in a studio.
Okay.
I never liked it. I love just being, when you're in a room with people and stuff, it's especially just acoustically, to have to wear headphones and stuff and listen to the other musicians.
Yeah.
It's really challenging for improvisational music.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now all the recordings I had done like that, they were all with a minimum of 3 people, So now when I do this duo record, it'll be so great because, like, we can just go into a room and not have to wear headphones and just use a couple of mics. It'll be way more easier to record, and I'm sure I'll have way more fun. Records are also, it's a lot of pressure too. We have X amount of time to do this. It's as opposed to when I don't think I ever think about, like, we have X amount of time to play this song at when I'm on a gig.
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes you do, though. If you like have an hour set and you have to play 7 songs.
Yeah.
And then
that's true.
You have to think about your solo. I don't want to go too long and all those things,
Yeah.
If they tell you, hey, you have 1 more song left, and you discover that there's 3 songs on the set list, you're like, oh, what do we do now? Which one do we play?
It's just it's very funny that even no matter all the preparation that goes into concerts and records and stuff, and it's never what you think it's going to be. It's so I think it's really all about the journey.
Yeah, it is. I have 2 songs, 2 classics that you've played that I want to talk about. I want us to get a little bit more technical with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And, one of them, when I told you about it, it seems like you didn't want to talk about it because it seemed like you were just experimenting. It's Contemplation, a song by McCoy Tyner, but I actually like your version of it. It sounds very electronic.
Well, I love electronic music too.
Okay.
People don't know that about me. They think I'm just only listen to jazz music.
Yeah.
I love, if I had, if there were places that I could go play this, I'm sure there hopefully will be some in the future, but I would love to play like electronic music live and have improvisation over it.
That's awesome. You did it well on that recording. So the song was originally recorded by McCoy Tyner. He's on piano. I think Elvin Jones on drums.
The real McCoy. Joe Henderson and Ron
Carter. Okay. So, why did you plan to take on that song, and what does the song mean to you?
Well, it was one of the first jazz songs I ever learned
Okay.
how to play on the
Interesting.
guitar. From the bat, the first time I ever played it was with a cello and a rhythm section.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's like one of those moments in your life when you're like, I just like, I got the chills,
Yeah.
or, you know, you get the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's that inexplainable stuff, how the euphoria you feel from playing music.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wanted to record that one. It brought me back to like when I was like a kid. The first time I ever got the chills from music, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, something else was going on
What
here.
was it about the music? Because you recorded it, you're a guitarist.
But there's no guitar on that.
But yeah, there's no guitar in the original recording. The original melody was done by, I think, a tenor sax.
Saxophone.
Saxophone. So what was the learning process like? I want to know, how do you learn to play melody on guitar, especially melody that was played by saxophone? Even sometimes when I hear a melody that's played by a saxophone and I try to like play it on the piano, I'm hardly satisfied. You know, it's just like, I'm like, okay, I have to do a whole lot of work for this to sound good.
Yeah.
If not, it's just gonna be sounding kind of choppy. So what was, maybe in general, how do you translate a melody to guitar?
Well, I think a great way to help doing that is to play along with the records.
Okay.
I think that's one way to do it. If you can add something to a record that, I mean, not that any of these classic records need anything. They don't need anything added to them. But if you can play along with it and feel, because it's very challenging to play along with a John Coltrane record.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the hardest things to do, like when you practice. And but not just do it, but be critical of yourself.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So I think that's really helpful with melody, and also with like harmonically too. Like one of the things I like to do is, you know, play with records that it's a trio, you know, sax, bass, and drums, and play like the chords under it. It's like, there's your chance.
Yeah.
Like it's all there right for you.
I know there are trios. How many of those kind of trios exist?
The saxophone.
Sax, bass, and drums. I've seen it around, but I don't remember any.
Well, nowadays,
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to say that there's one that's really stellar, it would be J.D. Allen, the tenor sax player.
Okay.
He works with the trio
Yeah.
a lot. That's probably like my favorite one currently. Even when I just went to see, but it is kind of cool though, because even when a saxophone plays with a quartet, you know, the piano can lay out.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
You can hear that the trio
Yeah.
vibe. All these different instrumentations, they all have such great different energies about them. And even like the John Coltrane quartet, like the record they put out, the re-release, Both Directions at Once. There's a lot of trio stuff on there, even though McCoy Tyner's on the record.
Yeah.
He lays out and stuff too, and I was so happy about that because I love John Coltrane. Like and that band, that's probably my favorite band. I'm like actually doing a tribute concert in a week for I've done them before, but it's something I like to do periodically. But when that record came out, like the new one, I was so happy that like I could like play trio with it and like put the chords behind it. It's just like, there's your opportunity to like, you're working with the best band in the world, practicing along to it.
Right. These days, I'm thinking there should be recordings that are just saxophone, for instance, that people can do that too. Maybe somebody could just transcribe one of maybe John Coltrane's solo or or something like that, and record it and just have it out there, just the sax part. Or if it's possible to actually just get the original recording itself, but just the saxophone
Yeah.
part. But I don't know if that's possible because of the way they recorded back then, so that people can. But if you have just the saxophone melody or just the solo by itself, somebody could easily do what you're talking about, like just trying to put
If they
chords
isolated
it.
like the rhythm section.
Yeah, isolated. Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be. I'm a big advocate of practicing along with records.
With records. When was the first time you learned that song, or you started playing the song to learn it? Contemplation.
Contemplation. Oh, that goes back to. Oh well, that was what, it's 2019 now, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Is it like 20 years ago?
It wasn't. I first learned that song. I went to Berkeley, and
Yeah.
I took a jazz ensemble my first semester,
Oh, okay.
and that was the first song that they handed us.
Mm-hmm.
They gave us the lead sheet for Contemplation.
Yeah.
And it's I think everyone will admit they have the songs they don't like, the standards. But I love that song. But like, let's say they put like a song in front of me I don't like at first, and
then
I would have
what
not
song would that be? Do you have any song that you just
don't like to play?
yeah, or that the first time you saw it you're like not my
Well,
thing.
I mean, I hope that I will eventually grow to like some of these songs. But
Yeah.
like, there's some songs I'm just not like. I don't really like to play.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend any composers out there.
No,
but,
but
yeah.
just because you don't like the song doesn't mean
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Well, I'll tell you a different situation. When I never really liked Autumn Leaves,
okay.
but then I heard Keith Jarrett play it, and like I was like, oh, and then that was it. I was like, I love this song.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to hear a recording that like really speaks to you.
Yeah.
And then I heard McCoy Tyner play Autumn Leaves.
Then you fell in love with it.
But before that, I just
Yeah.
didn't. No one ever gave me these records or
Interesting.
anything.
A song that does that I didn't care for was Green Dove. Is it Green Dove?
You know, it's so funny. That's the one I don't really like.
Okay.
I don't like to play that song. It's just Green Dolphin Street.
Yeah.
I'm happy to play it.
Yeah.
If the band's good, you play with a good band and make everything work. Play any way you want to play
Yeah.
it. But yeah, there's so many songs out there. So, but it's okay. You
Yeah.
can't like everything.
I like the fact that there are so many songs out there actually, because it allows you to practice in different ways. What I realize, I don't know if this happens in general, is that sometimes if a song is like really challenging me, if I keep that song and start working on other songs, maybe simpler songs, when I come back to the harder song, I discover that I've learned something from other songs that could help me with that song.
I think one of the things too with jazz, some musicians feel like they think songs might be. I mean, I don't think there's any easy song in jazz. I think it's just all about the improvisation, and like some people feel like, oh, there's nothing wrong with playing Cantaloupe Island. I mean, it's an easier harmonic thing, but what about your solo? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I don't have that. I have the attitude where I'm just like, it's just about the improvisation. We can play that. No, of course. Yeah. I'm happy to play it.
I have a question about the song Contemplation. The bass line in the song is very, I guess, prominent. That's what I would say. I can't remember listening to your version. I can't remember if you kept that bass like
I
that.
did, yeah.
You did.
It's much faster though.
That's what I was thinking, because that bass. The first day I loved that song, the first day I listened to the song wasn't on a record or anything, it
Mm-hmm.
was my piano teacher. He's like, "Oh, you like this song?" And he started with the bass, and I fell in love with the song, And I started playing the melody, and he was playing the bass, and I just liked the song, and I went and listened, and that bass is just
Yeah, actually, I mean,
it's so dope.
yeah, it's
Dun, dun,
that song is it's still one of my favorites to play, and I'm really happy that McCoy Tyner, he did this one record back in I think like 2009 around then called Guitars, where he recorded with all different guitar players,
Oh.
and he recorded Contemplation with Bill Frisell, Ron Carter, Jack DeJohnette. That record is, but that's probably my favorite track on the record. They, and he plays that bass line. It's so classic. There's just
Yeah.
certain songs.
Yeah.
They're just timeless.
I know. Yeah.
You listen to it. I mean, I listen to John Coltrane every day. They never got old once.
It doesn't get
In
old.
fact, it like keeps, it does the opposite. It gives me like the, energy and motivation to embrace the day.
Somebody that I listen to, I can listen to forever is playing Shorter. Like I can just listen to his song Footprints. I can put it on rewind and just keep listening to it like 24 hours.
Yeah. I actually just started listening to Deluge and yes and no. I started re-listening to those couple songs, but Wayne Shorter is just,
It's on another level.
yeah. You know what? I was talking with someone about Wayne Shorter recently. He was kind of someone I was speaking to. They were like, they want to hear musicians like bring new concepts, like, but I'm not just revisiting the older jazz concepts with a little bit of a twist, but like something really new. And I think Wayne Shorter with his band now, the one with John Patitucci, Brian Blade, and Danilo Perez, they're doing something like it's like a whole other jazz aesthetic. I mean, it takes the master,
exactly
to do that.
Do that.
But he's doing it. It's like,
you have to be so seasoned and so validated to the point that if you come up with new stuff, people will be able to pay attention to you and say, okay, this is new stuff we can rock with. This is something that we need to learn. This is a new institution. If other people who are unknown, if somebody who is unknown tries certain things, they'll be like, okay, what are you trying to do?
I mean, jazz has so many aesthetics. So many different ways to play. Hard bop, bebop, smooth jazz, funk, fusion, so on and so forth. There's so much already there. Nowadays, I think people try to be a little too creative and, but there's so much already.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, you can never be too creative. They're trying to be too clever.
Yeah, I see.
And then that doesn't speak to audiences too well. When they're like have to figure out what time was going, what time signature this is and stuff, or it can become confusing.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't swing like?
Yeah.
It's like, isn't swing
4/4, 2/4,
4/4, 3/4?
Yeah.
It's all I mean. But music's always moving
17,
forward.
11. All right. I have another song, AfroBlue. Is a song you recorded. One thing I noticed about your version, it's like if I want to put a caption to your recording of this song, I would say you just went in to do it, to just get it done. It's like that's how it sounds to me.
Yeah.
And I really like that spirit of just that what I say, the spirit and the style of recording a song and not chilling at any part of the song. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the stylistic approach that you took on
That was
song.
we did that recording like it was just 1, 2, 3, boom.
Okay.
We did a couple of takes of it.
Okay.
I think maybe we did 2 or 3,
Yeah.
maybe 4. Because I recorded that because I wanted to use something, you know, I wanted something like on like my EPK that would be like people would, you know, not that they would be able to really be that it would be accessible, you
Yeah.
know, like a melody that's
Yeah.
a standard,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So that's why it was, you know,
When was this first time you heard that song? You ever heard that
AfroBlue?
song? Yeah.
When was the first time? I wish I remembered. I wish
Okay.
I remembered, but I play
What
it all the
version
time.
did you hear?
Recording?
Yeah.
I don't know the first time like which recording I heard, but I could tell
Yeah.
you the first time I heard like my favorite recording of it.
Okay. What's your favorite recording of it?
I like 2. I like John Coltrane,
Yeah.
One Down, One Up, live at the half note.
Yeah.
I love that one. I also love John Coltrane live in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Playing
Nice.
it. That one is like crazy, like a lot of like with Pharoah Sanders
Yeah.
and stuff. That record, it's super free, and it's just like, but it's like it's just this energy that just speaks to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that song. That song
Okay.
is. So I wish people played it more.
What do you like about the song?
Well, I don't know if you have this or not,
Yeah.
but it's something that I don't. People think it's kind of strange. Minor keys to me sound happy. I think major keys sometimes I get like they're like sad.
Yeah.
You know.
I know what you're saying. Some of my favorite compositions that make me happy are in minor keys.
Yeah.
AfroBlue is one of those songs.
AfroBlue, it's
Yeah.
like it's a key of F minor.
Yeah.
I think the melody is brilliant in itself. I think that there's so many different ways to play it. That's one, you know, so compositionally.
But it gotta be 6/8. I don't want to hear anybody play AfroBlue in 4/4.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't heard that yet, but if someone does it, I will listen.
I
you
will
know?
listen. I will listen, but
But it could be like it could be 12/8. It could be like
Yeah.
a slow 3/4. It could be
Yeah.
like a fast, you know, 6/8,
yeah.
whatever you want to call it. But I love the song so much. It's just I've been playing that song like I mean, it's one of those ones that's like been in my repertoire.
Yeah.
I did an arrangement of it, like a new arrangement for quartet. We played it a couple of times live. It's again, you know, I think these songs are timeless.
Yeah, that song, it's timeless. Like the first time I heard this song, I was actually, when was this? I was in high school. But when I started exploring the song, I had Coltrane's versions first, and I'm like, okay, well, as I'm African, as somebody who is an African, I kind of know why this is called AfroBlue. You know, it's 6/8. It has potential also. It has the potential to be very polyrhythmic as much as you want it to be, as polyrhythmic as you can get, you know, and African music and Afro-Cuban music can get really polyrhythmic. But when I went back and I listened to the original version by Mongo Santamaria. He's a Cuban percussionist, and it kind of made sense to me. Now this song, I'm like, okay, I see where this song comes from. I see why the melody is this way. I see why the progression is what it is. I hear the guy. He's an incredible percussionist. When he plays, it seems like three people are playing, and it's like polyrhythmic as can be, you know. So his version is just like, it's AfroBlue.
Yeah.
You know, Coltrane's version it's solid jazz, very very. It brings out a lot about the song, and it's also AfroBlue, and many people have done
But if you went
different
on
versions of the song.
yeah, I mean, if you went on iTunes or
Yeah.
Spotify and typed in AfroBlue, I
Yeah.
mean, I've never done this, but I can't imagine how many different ones you would find.
Yeah, there are a lot,
I would imagine,
including yours.
yeah, including mine. That's it's yeah. That too on my recording, it was also a band. There was organ trio. So that band was working together for like a long time. It would we would still be working together now, but the drummer went on a cruise ship and the piano player joined the army.
Oh.
So they both at that time, you
Yeah.
know, so the drummer's back now. We're working together again, but
Okay.
but they both went off.
For how
from
long
there.
was he in the army?
He's in the army still?
He's still in the army. Okay.
Yeah, he plays piano in the Jazz Ambassadors. They tour around the country and
Okay.
stuff. We still get a chance to play,
Mm-hmm.
like when he's like off and stuff. He's like my best friend.
Yeah.
You know, someone I've been working with for like close to a decade. So we just did a couple gigs. We did a couple gigs in Virginia last year. And we were just in the Adirondack Mountains in November. So we still play together. There's certain people, you know, you just have like this relationship
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you work with countless people, I'm sure,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like maybe like 5 or
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
You're like I just want to work with this
Yeah.
person.
And there are some people that you just want to work with, and they might not even be. They might not even be the best. You know, you've met other people that you think are really good players, but this person, you just connect with the person. The way he plays, you can rock with it.
Yeah,
His
the
personality,
energy as a
his
person.
energy.
Yeah.
You are listening to Doing Jazz with Lawrence Chuno. The guest on this episode is guitarist Abe Ovadia. If you are on Spotify or iTunes, follow the Doing Jazz playlist, a one-stop playlist for songs by all the Doing Jazz guests so far. All right, let's go back to the very beginning. Where are
Sure.
you from?
I am from Marlboro, New Jersey.
Okay.
I was born in Brooklyn, though.
Oh, you were born in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I lived there
Okay.
for the first 2 months of my life.
Oh.
But I'm technically born in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn,
you know?
I see.
I was a
Okay.
baby
Yeah. When did you move to New Jersey?
when I was 2 months old.
Oh, you were 2 months old.
Yeah.
Okay. Marlboro, New Jersey. So you were born in Marlboro.
Marlboro, New Jersey.
I just want to figure out how you ended up becoming this guitar sensation
Oh,
that you
it's I mean, it's very funny. Like I'm from Marlboro, New Jersey, which is like literally if you put the bullseye on the state of New Jersey, Marlboro and Monmouth County is
Yeah.
we're dead center.
Wow.
We're close to the city, New York City. We're close to the beach, 20 minutes, and we're also close to Philadelphia as
Okay,
well.
nice.
I just moved back there in 2015.
Okay. You used to be in Philadelphia.
I wasn't in Philadelphia. I work a lot in Philly.
Okay.
Now I'm working a lot in Philly just because I like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's a great city. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I just moved back there a couple years ago. It's great to be. You know, you live in your hometown. keeps you. There's a lot of like. I mean, I used to live in New York City.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another energy itself.
Oh, this is different. Tell me about it. So when did you start playing the guitar? When did you get
I
your
was
first
9.
guitar? You were 9.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was 9 years old.
And eventually you realized that this is what you want to do.
Right. I was always like really into playing guitar. You know, as a little kid, I just loved the guitar. When I saw the movie, you ever see the movie Bill and Ted? It's like these two guys like in high school, and they think they play the guitar. They don't. They just like rock out with it.
Yeah.
So like that movie in Wayne's World,
Okay.
he played guitar.
Yeah.
You know, I just like I love those movies as a kid, so I always like loved the guitar.
Yeah.
And then one day, you know, my dad bought me my first guitar. So from like 9 to age 13, I was always like playing it, but I didn't know how to read music. I was just playing like from like lessons with the local guy, you know, and just he would teach me like rock songs and stuff.
Yeah. Is the local guy still there?
One of my teachers is still not the first guy I studied with. I don't know.
I'm talking about the very first guy.
The very first guy, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But the guy who I went to after, who really helped me a lot, his name is Ron Nash. He's in New Jersey.
Okay.
He's still there, and like he's been very supportive on like Facebook and stuff, and about anything
Promoting your stuff.
Yeah,
like,
he like really like helped me learn theory.
Nice.
So because if I didn't like learn theory, but that's what happened when I went to Berkeley. When I went to Berkeley, like the time I went to Berkeley, they were like letting in like I'll tell you, this is like very funny.
Yeah.
Like my Berkeley class was the people who entered with me was like the last class that got in. You didn't have to audition to get in. You just basically had to like be able to pay for it.
Yeah.
So if you entered fall 2005, you didn't audition. If you entered spring 2006, you had to audition. So mine was like the last of the people who. So my class that went to Berkeley, I think 85, who started in that fall, I think 79 to 85% dropped out or something like that. I heard that. Yeah, like just because people did a lot.
They just couldn't hang. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you work, you can do anything. Like, but it was.
They didn't have a solid background.
I think a lot of people who entered with me, like, I was just like they didn't even know like what the like wait what are the notes A B C D you know, like didn't know anything about theory. And but I knew a lot about theory just because one teacher,
Ron Nash.
Ron taught me theory. He like it was so I remember.
Shout out to Ron.
Ron, thank you. Like he explained the cycle of fifths to me and like the order of the notes,
and he blew your mind.
Well, I was so confused, like with the whole half step stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was just like. I did not know what he was saying at all. Like it's like when people tell you like I'm like nowadays it's very funny because it's like nowadays like I go like on dates and stuff with like a girl and they like say, oh, I do this, like it's some type of job, and I don't know what they're saying. like they work in some, it doesn't have to be anything, but they're like, I do that. I'm like, wait, what do you do? And then they explain it. And I'm like, I have no idea what you just said. So it's like Ron, when he explained the theory to me, it was like the whole, like the, I was like, I had no idea, but then I got it.
Yeah.
And then I figured out all the notes on the guitar.
That's awesome.
And then, that was. And
I have a question.
Sure.
Oh, before I ask this question, let me go back why I was asking of the very first guy, because most of the times, the very first person who taught you how to do something, especially music, might not be the most gifted or the most skilled person, but that person end up making such an impression on you. It could be maybe your uncle or your dad, maybe your uncle who plays piano, not too good. Maybe he just taught you the white keys and stuff and taught you where the middle C is. So I just wanted to know who that first guy is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was wondering if he's still there, if he still does music, or if it's just like the local mechanic or something.
He's probably still there, you know, but Ron was really like, Ron still works a lot in in New Jersey, and he
Oh,
actually
okay.
called me to like sub for a gig for him one time, and I'm like, but it was that point
Nice.
where like I only play like jazz music. Like
Yeah.
I made that decision. Like
So Ron is a musician.
Ron's a
Okay.
musician. He's not he's he's he can play every style of rock and roll and like a lot of
Awesome.
progressive rock,
Yeah.
classic rock and stuff, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But he called me to like play like a gig, like, and I'm like, Ron, like this is like a couple years ago, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, Ron, I don't know these songs. I wouldn't be the person to do it. I appreciate that
Yeah.
you did that, but like at this point, like I've been in
Yeah.
the jazz world for so long already.
Mhm,
It's just
mhm.
like I don't learn,
Yeah.
like just random songs. I mean,
Yeah.
I will if I'm teaching somebody and they
Yeah.
want to learn something, but
Mhm.
I've been in the jazz world.
Mhm.
I'm opening up a music school in like 2 months, so that'll be like I'll be getting back into playing other styles of music
Awesome.
for the kids. So
Awesome. Awesome.
that'll be
Nice.
fun.
Nice. So you finished from Berkeley, and
I-
then you went to do a master's.
I
Is
went
it
to
a-
NYU
NYU for a master's? A master's in
jazz.
jazz,
Mm-hmm.
jazz performance.
Yeah, jazz studies with the concentration in performance.
Okay.
I studied some psychology of music as well.
Okay.
I did a big paper on. It's actually out there if anyone wants to read it. Like the question is, do you want to be thinking or not thinking when you play?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about the two big schools of jazz. Do you want to think or not think?
Mhm.
One guy is Hal Crook, and one guy is Kenny Werner, who wrote Effortless
Mhm.
Mastery. So I kind of compared their theories and stuff
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Because it's like, do you want to be thinking or not when you
Mhm.
play?
Mhm.
That's a big
Yeah.
thing musicians will struggle with for
Yeah.
a lifetime, I think.
That's interesting. Because I've always just thought that you have to think, you have to like invest some cognitive energy into it. Like when you're learning,
Sure.
you have to like maybe when you look at a chart, think about the chart, what's going on,
Right.
look at the progressions, figure out the 2/5s on it, and then
You got to be. If you want to learn how to understand jazz theory,
Yeah.
you have to like really understand. You're basically,
Yeah,
it's
so-
like being a neuroscientist or something.
Yeah,
you
so I was
know?
thinking that if you have to do that, then you have when you play the first several times, you want to think. But I now see the merit in maybe not thinking, in internalizing it,
Yeah.
and just
I mean,
perform it.
it's a process. Like for me, at least, the first like I've been improvising, like playing. When I say the word improvise, I mean playing solos
Mm-hmm.
on a song.
Yeah,
So I've been doing that since I was in high school jazz band. So this is
Yeah.
since I was 15,
yeah.
14 actually. I went to Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to my first year at NYU.
Yeah.
My second year at NYU, I finally thought to myself, okay, now I understand the improvisation process. So that's like me, like, so age 14 to age 22 or something,
Yeah.
20, like that's like 8 years. Like I feel like I didn't know what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
but then like one day you like have a moment that helps you get it. And
Can you summarize your realization
Yes.
in like a sentence or a
Oh,
paragraph?
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Tell me.
100%. Well, you watch people improvise and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, your fingers move and stuff, and
Yeah.
you know the notes to play, and like, but we're like, it's very confusing,
Yeah.
And then you watch some people who do it like with their eyes closed, and they almost make it look effortless. Like they don't even have
Yeah.
to try. You can get confused and stuff. But then like one time, and at this point, I was playing already. Like I was like working. Like I was,
Yeah.
I was playing on cruise ships. I was, touring, and I had like, I had already like was already paying my dues,
Mm-hmm.
But I was still like, I'm like, I guess this is just like I'll never know
Mm-hmm.
how to do this. I mean, it's just a mystery. And then I went to hear Mark Whitfield, the guitar player, play at the Zinc Bar,
Mm-hmm.
and I like really paid attention to the way like he improvised, and he sings when he plays sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay. Like it's like, and he, watching him, this one, and I had gone to see like so many concerts before,
Mhm.
but like this one moment like changed my life,
Mm.
seeing that concert. And then and then I started some experimenting with some improvisation, techniques just to get this, no mercy approach
Yeah. Yeah.
going for it and stuff. And, but there was a lot of trial and error before that as well for me.
So
But
would you
it's a
say that
journey.
incorporating singing, in other words, do you think your notes you should try as much as possible for your notes to be created by you instead of for your note to be determined by your studies?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I think, I understand what you're saying. I think there's when it comes to improvising,
Yeah.
I think there's so many of these ways to think. There's not just one way.
Yeah.
You can really be no mercy and just
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
And play all your stuff and move and let it just flow out. Or sometimes you can be more like a spectator.
Yeah.
And watch yourself,
Yeah.
improvise, but almost watching yourself,
Yeah.
do it while you do it, and let the fingers just move
Yeah.
themselves. But that's the thing. It's the journey, and there's all these factors that determine how you're going to do it. And I think that's the mystery of it. You can prepare all you want for any gig, but then you go do it, and it's
Yeah.
whatever, who knows what this is going to be. But that's the fun of it.
Yeah. When it comes to improvisation, there's something I call the pro move, even though it's a term I came up with when I didn't know a lot about improvisation. When I was a baby jazz musician, just learned, baby jazz student, not even a musician. I used to enjoy it when somebody solos, and after soloing, the person ends with the melody, ends with the end of the melody, like the last bar of the melody. I just love it.
Yeah. When they finish off their solo with the part of the melody.
Exactly. I used to call that, that's a pro move.
Yeah, that's how, or these little things, just when the solo, it doesn't end at the end of the chorus, but starts to end in maybe the first few bars of the next chorus.
Yeah, but you gotta be working with people who are in sync with you, people who you guys have connection.
Yeah, I mean, you might end your solo in bar 4, but the way it flows into the next solo,
you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you're like but those moments, that's that's years and years.
Yeah.
I mean, no, some people just have it naturally.
Yeah. My band now, we're becoming so cohesive. We're becoming more cohesive, that our hits are spectacular. We'll go play without practicing, or without rehearsing. That those songs we've played it so many times that when we solo, when I'm usually just singing nowadays. When I'm scatting, it's everybody's
the band you have now is that's you're the happiest with the way the instrumentation and stuff, the players.
Yes, it's just I used to play the piano. I used to sing and play the piano, and have a drum and a bassist. But after a while, I feel like I could do better by getting a pianist who is better than me. Let me focus on just my voice, and it's worked so well. And their solos are just this. Sometimes we plan the order of solo, but we change it up on stage.
When you're doing both, you're doing most of the legwork.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know every band member is important, but I mean, let's be honest.
Yes.
You're doing a lot of the lifting.
Yes. Yeah. So now we kind of understand one another to the point that we can almost anticipate what the other person is doing, or sometimes it's not even our turn to take a solo, but we're like, okay, maybe I should take a solo now.
That's the thing.
It just works out.
It sounds like it's a lot like that. I mean, that's the thing. It's this music is just, it's a process. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it sounds like that's what it. Like you're just in that.
Yeah.
You could sometimes you just know like you're in the mindset like just where everything is just working.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. You
But
might not be making a lot of money, but you're happy because things are working.
I didn't get into this for the money.
For the money, I know. Now talking about money and playing out and other things. How do you book?
How do I book?
Yeah, how do you?
Well, some things I take care of myself.
I'm asking because it seems like you're really busy lately, and booking can be difficult for unsigned musicians, for independent musicians.
Sure.
How do you get all these gigs and you're able to just tour like that?
Well, I mean, you can tour. Anyone can tour.
Yeah.
That's a big misconception.
No, I don't know if anyone can tour.
Well, you have to have a product first. You know,
you have to have a product, but
you have to have
money.
A product. Money. Well,
touring involves it requires money.
But that's the thing. I mean, most people will tour.
Yeah.
And when I did my first tour, or I'll tell you how. Here's how I planned it.
Yeah.
I did like 9 states, up and down the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one gig a night. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So you got to factor in hotel, gas, paying your musicians. So the first tour, I actually did okay.
How is that possible?
Well, no, that was a fluke. That was a fluke.
Okay.
I did okay the first time. I actually made some money. But then I would do some other things and I'm like breaking even here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you just have to work like numerous things in a day. You know what I mean? You can't just do one gig a night.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to do something during the day and something at night because and also because it depends too like what your standards are of like hotels. Like I don't want to stay in any place that's I like to be someplace comfortable and stuff. But if you do like numerous things per day, then you're able to tour and go make money.
Okay.
So that's because I would go away and I'm like you're just hanging out during the day, so why not go do something?
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
like what though?
Well, go teach where you're gonna be during the day.
Yeah.
Reach out to your.
But you have to plan all this in advance.
Oh yeah, you got to.
And they have to be available the day you'll be there. So
yes.
So you have to. I guess you have to. You have to like really do a lot of planning in advance.
I also
even if you get stuff to do, there might not be paid gigs, like paid teaching gigs. So I'm more concerned about at least evening out. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think there's. And I think there for me there was a lot of like trial and error with touring and stuff.
I see that.
But now I figured out a way to do it. Yeah. The thing is, when I said I was going to put myself on the road a lot last year, it wasn't like thinking like. I didn't want to burn myself out, but you have to burn yourself out,
I see.
Unless you're Keith Jarrett, you can go play at Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
Or go play, go do something like that. And I think also too, it also depends on, okay, here's another tip for touring as well. So for instance, I'm going to Kentucky in a couple weeks. So when I go, I'll play with the band out there. Last year when I was in the Midwest. I did Kentucky, Lexington. I did Toledo, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Ohio. A couple of gigs. So everyone I worked with was out there.
Okay.
If you have to fly out a whole band, You know what I mean? That, like, you have to be realistic about things too.
Okay.
So I think it's, work with the musicians who live wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
That's important.
Okay.
That's a tip.
That's a tip.
Yeah.
It works out for certain. It works out for certain types of artists, though, because if you're a jazz artist, I think you can afford to do that because you guys can just play standards that everybody knows. But if you have your own compositions well, let me stop there.
Well, you
because
could do that.
Send them stuff in advance.
You could do that too, but I think you could also. I'm sure there'll become a point. I mean, like for me right now, I've been like in like a certain world of like standards for like a couple years, but not just play. Like just songs that have been recorded, even like songs by Grant Green.
Yeah.
That people don't play and stuff that are on records. Arrangements, that sort of thing. I mean, you could go to, like, let's say you wanted to go to wherever, go out. And like plan it, find your band that's out there and just rehearse for a day.
Yeah, I see.
Rehearse during the day.
Another tip, something I noticed, outside of New York City, people are not too critical. So if you are good, you don't need the top-notch musicians to.
Yeah, that whole New York thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who live here.
Yeah.
And play jazz or play any genre, they're like, oh, the best musicians are in here, and the fact, I mean, there's amazing musicians everywhere.
Everywhere, true. You are right. You're right.
They don't. There's the most jazz musicians in New York. In New York, it's like it's crazy, but there's amazing musicians everywhere. It doesn't matter where. I went to New Hampshire to like a town last year to go do a concert, and it was like a chain of like reaching out to people like who lived up there and stuff, and finally I got someone for the gig, and like I played with this guy, and he was like he's unbelievable. There's amazing musicians everywhere. That a lot of people who talk that way, like they do that because I think that's like more of like an ego thing. Like they want to feel like, oh, I live here. I'm in New York. I only work with the best people. Yeah. There's a lot of like ego stuff.
I'm not talking about even best people, but if it seems like people in New York get the most
critical. You're saying critical.
Critical, yeah. People like audiences are
that's terrible.
Way more critical.
Because I mean they're just they're in their own head. There a lot of people do this music for play jazz. Yeah. Jazz is like, I mean, listen, I mean jazz is this is like I think about playing this music like all day. Yeah. Playing jazz. But a lot of people who do this music like a lot of it has to do with the lifestyle, the social aspects. They feel like a part of something, safety in numbers as well. Like I don't really hang out with too many jazz musicians. I hang out with maybe like, 2 or 3 socially. Because when I play, like I'm just like, if I go to work, if I go to a concert anywhere, it doesn't matter, club, restaurant, it doesn't. I'm like, I'm just only, all I want to care about is the music. Yeah. I don't want to care about, I'm only focused on the music. That's it. I don't have time for anything else. And a lot of people like I'm filtering out a lot of people. I learned a lot about musicians the past year. Yeah. I see. I wish, I'm just being realistic, but like there's like, I just want to worry about the music itself. I don't want to be, if people start complaining about the money right away, you lose me. Yeah. Forget it. Like I'll call someone else who wants to play. Yeah. You know what I mean? They start complaining like, oh, we can only eat this. Like I'm like, what are you here to eat or here to play? If you want to eat, go home if you want to eat. Eat. I mean, like you're here to play. Yeah. It's like you want the restaurant to give you a steak and fries and a French onion soup. You know what I mean? Then go order it and pay for it yourself. Yeah. But it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I feel the way like I said, I don't hang out with socially.
Yeah.
A lot of jazz musicians. A couple of them are like my best friends.
Yeah.
But because if
Yeah.
I talk to them about
But you
music,
can't hang out with everybody. I mean, even though you are all in the same field, you can't click with everybody.
yeah,
You know.
yeah,
You can work with a lot of people, but you can't click with everybody. That
Yeah.
you can't be hitting up everybody and saying, "Hey, you want to hang out tonight?" No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Let's try to conclude with a game I call Turn Up or Mute. My friend, his name is John Gray, who covered for me once. He changed it to Turn Up, Turn Down. So,
Okay.
so let's call it Turn Up, Turn Down. I think it's more descriptive. So I'll give you two options,
Sure.
two options, and you tell me which one you turn up and which one you turn down. But the caveat is that whatever you turn down, it's just for now.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you turn up is just for now. This is how you feel at the moment. You know, it doesn't mean you've turned that thing down forever. It just means for now. This is how you feel. You know.
So you're either turning something like,
I'll give you two choices.
and I have to pick one.
You have to pick one. Basically.
Okay.
Basically,
yeah.
you have to pick one, and the one you pick, we call it turn up.
Turn
All
up or turn down. I'm turning the gig down, but like turn up. I never heard that expression.
right. Yeah.
I'm gonna have. So if someone calls me for something, I'm gonna have to say I'll turn up.
Turn up. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's a cool expression.
Yeah.
Though.
Turn up. So, who would you turn up? George Benson, Russell Malone.
Who would I turn up?
Yeah.
George Benson.
George Benson. Okay. You know Russell Malone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Is there anything about George Benson?
Anything about George Benson?
Yeah, because that was an easy choice for you. You just like George Benson.
I
Is it
love
because
George
he sings?
Benson. Well, turn your love. Right, that's a song.
Yeah.
Is it? Well, I love. Well, no.
I like his song Affirmation.
George Benson did this jazz guitar record,
Okay.
like not like an instructional video,
Oh.
and he plays guitar, just plays chords,
Yeah.
solo guitar, just swinging. So when I
Yeah.
heard that, I'm like, oh, like, what is this? Is like amazing.
Yeah.
And I love George Benson.
Yeah.
George is the king.
Nice. I really like his song Affirmation. The composition, it's just in one key, but it's still it's still jazz, like
Yeah.
jazz as hell, you know. Berkeley, NYU. Which one do you turn up?
NYU.
NYU.
I hated Berkeley.
Okay.
Berkeley was not fun, but at the time, well, just a bit.
NYU is closer to home too.
Not even that.
Not even that.
But Berkeley was so hard emotionally.
I see.
It's like I would have dropped out. I wish
Mm-hmm.
I in retrospect, but I was so like I used to be like very like ego driven, I would say, and if I had dropped out of Berkeley, I would not be able to like look at people and tell them. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do this and finish.
Yeah.
You know, even for
Does it have something to do with your family background? Like, do you come from a family where they're like tough on
Well, I'm
starting
sure
something and finishing, especially academics?
I'm sure they would have been like, well, they would have been supportive of whatever I wanted to
Okay.
do. But at the time, like when you have dreams in life,
Mm-hmm.
you ever heard that expression? Like, everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
Yeah,
you
I know,
it's
yeah.
like you have to like
You have to work for
you
it.
have to put in this, like, no matter how hard this is. Berkeley was so hard,
Mm-hmm.
and just like hard emotionally, just to all the musicians and stuff, and everyone is trying to like not even one up each other,
Mm-hmm.
but it was so tough. It was just like it's like really to
Yeah.
you know, but all those people.
NYU was a master's program.
Yeah,
It's
but
an MFA, right?
What?
It's an MFA, Masters of Fine Art, or
No,
just
no, no.
Master of Art.
MA.
So it was more
MA.
academic than Berkeley was a conservatory, right?
Yeah,
All
Berkeley's
you
a
did was music.
conservatory, yeah.
So maybe you're more of an academic person.
Yeah, that could be true
Yeah.
too. Also, NYU was like, you know, you're not just trapped with musicians all
Yeah.
day.
So I see you're more from maybe you would have done really well if you had gone to like a liberal arts school that has a music program.
Yeah, I think I would have thrived.
Yeah, you would have thrived.
I think I would have
Yeah.
been further along
Yeah.
than I am now. But, but that's just the journey, like at the time,
Yeah.
But without Berkeley, though, I'll be honest with you, like one of my dreams in life was to like, I'll just, just to always like, I just want to like go away and like play for a lot of people. I don't care what the music is at all. Like I care what the music is, but and I got the job on cruise ships when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
Like Berkeley gave me the training to do that.
do that.
So without Berkeley and like being so hard, like
Yeah.
maybe I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Like Berkeley like trained me to like go work on a cruise ship and like at age 19 and like and thrive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's nice.
so,
That's nice.
but still very hard emotionally.
I see. Sometimes you gotta take the beating.
Yeah.
to
Well, I'm
get
not. Well,
everyone.
I've taken my beatings. I won't take any
You won't take
anymore.
any anymore.
I'm too old for that.
You're too old to start hustling again.
Yes.
All right. Last question.
Sure.
I probably know the answer to this, but maybe I'm wrong. Contemplation, AfroBlue. In totality.
AfroBlue.
AfroBlue. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We already talked about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy
Yeah.
choice for me.
Okay. Last question. I want to know, can you tell me a little bit more about your name? Your last name?
Ovadia.
Ovadia.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure. It's an Israeli
Oh, okay.
name.
Okay. I was thinking, is it Israeli? Is it Italian?
Yeah, it's
Is it
actually
Polish?
my name, and also I guess just the way I look.
Yeah.
People have no idea. They
Yeah.
could Italian, Israeli,
Yeah.
Greek. They don't know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it's Ovadia. It's it's a Hebrew name. It comes
Okay.
from Obadiah. It means,
Oh, okay.
It
Okay.
actually in Hebrew it means servant of God.
Yeah. So it's like the same thing as Obadiah.
Obadiah.
Obadiah. It's just
Exactly
maybe,
the same.
It could be just a different dialect of,
Yes.
of Hebrew. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And
nice.
Abraham is Abraham's that
Yeah.
biblical name. It's
Yeah.
it's like like if you were to like analyze it, it's actually like kind of a like religious name.
Yeah, yeah.
As a whole. It was my grandfather's name as well, so I'm named
Nice.
after him.
Yeah.
So-
Isn't it interesting how a name could be like twisted in different forms based on the accent or the dialect of the same language? A name like Abraham, there are different ways of pronouncing it too, or spelling it. And I think that there are some other names that are just derivatives of Abraham, like Abramov.
Yeah, I have a cousin, my first cousin. Well, his name is Avraham with a V,
Exactly.
and he goes by Avi.
Avi. So, never mind.
So he goes by Avi, and
Yeah.
I'm Abe. So
Yeah.
no one's ever really
Interesting,
confused.
confusing,
We have
yeah.
We have a couple of like in my family.
Yeah.
We have a couple of Abrahams. At least I know there's at least 3. There might be more. I don't even know. I've lost track of some. Oh my God, I have so many cousins. You wouldn't believe it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Abe Ovadia.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. This was fun.
Yes.
It's going to be a great
I hope you
episode.
enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't expect it at all.